How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. It's very, very nice to have you on today.
It's my
Um,
pleasure.
I'm just wondering before we could start, my dad's a really big fan of yours. He's right here. Would you mind just saying hi to him?
I'd rather not. No, I'm kidding. Of course I will. Yeah, of course. Of
Thanks.
course.
Hi, Maven.
Hey, Dad, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, there's absolutely no question that's your son.
I
Just
know.
kidding.
Oh, I just want to
literally,
say,
literally, I know what you look like as a child now.
oh, definitely. I have a photo of me as 5 years old and Sabre as 5 years old, and it looks like it was taken the same day.
I gotta ask, the name Sabre. That's such a good name. Where did it come from?
My wife used to fence, and
Oh,
I'm a
okay,
big Star Wars fan, and she
gotcha,
saw a show where there was a dancer named Sabrina, and she was like,
gotcha.
We're having a boy. Sabre's a great name."
That's a great name. I
Yeah,
love it.
thank you.
It's a strong, powerful name. It's gonna be something that it's gonna like. I hated Maven growing up until I became an adult,
Yeah,
and then because it's different and people always remembered me because of the name. So
yeah.
well done, well done.
Thank you. I felt the same name or the same way with my name as Yannick in a English area.
Ah, okay,
So I didn't
gotcha.
like it as much as a kid, but as an adult, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Oh,
thank you for being a fan. Thank you so much.
thank you. And I'll give you back to Saber. It was nice to meet you and enjoy.
Great meeting you. Take care.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that. Thank
Ah,
you
my
for
pleasure.
being here today as well.
My
So,
pleasure, buddy.
from 2001 to 2005, you had the greatest job in the world, a WWE Superstar.
Yes.
How was it like that from being a school teacher to becoming a WWE superstar? It must have been so surreal.
It was, but it's one of those things that I don't even know if my dreams could have foretold what actually happened. I think whenever I would dream about, becoming a wrestler, the dreams even had limits. So by the time I got to the WWE and by the time I was able to live those dreams out, I mean, I think I surpassed them, just week after week, being able to beat The Undertaker, being able to fight for the heavyweight championship. All those dreams that a year, 2 years earlier, I thought impossible were indeed coming true. I'm living proof that you can do and you can accomplish amazing things as long as you put your mind to it.
Yeah. So the way you got into the WWE was winning Tough Enough, and recently the WWE did a show called LFG. Have you seen it?
I haven't. I know about it. I have not seen it yet. It's still too tough. It's hard to watch stuff like
Yeah.
that. I support anything that is encompassing people living their dreams the way I did. But it's tough when stuff like that comes about, and I'm not selfishly not a part of it.
Mm. I just thought of it because I felt it was kind of similar the way it worked out. How it's a competition and whoever wins goes on to the
Yeah,
WWE.
I would like to think that a little bit of the tough enough seasons and series success led to them creating that. And if that's
Yeah,
the case, then they can thank me.
they sure can. Um, so Devon credits you for helping him create his own podcast and YouTube channel.
He
And
better.
are there any other wrestlers that you helped them go into that path of doing things like that?
Ironically enough, when my partner Zach and I were
Mhm.
in Texas at the Undertaker studio, he told us he wouldn't have started his channel without our channel.
Oh,
And there's no better like that's about as high of praise as you can get. I love what we've been able to create, and I love that it's giving others opportunities to create their platform. Just today, just a
yeah.
few hours ago, I was on the phone with Buck Bagwell, and talking about how what he can do and how he can use the platform to tell his stories.
Yeah, that's really cool that you got to inspire other people doing that. In another video of yours, you said that you regretted not having an amateur wrestling background. And for me, who I want to become a wrestler just like you did, I've taken amateur wrestling classes and I'm gonna continue taking them.
Mm.
How much can that prepare you for becoming a wrestler?
Well, here's what it'll do. And Saber, that's amazing that you're doing it. The reason I said I I I wish I had that background was simply because when we got into the ring and we started learning moves, every wrestling move, or most, I don't know if the RKO is like a real move, but most wrestling moves are very similar to real moves. So when you put a hammer lock on, when you put a headlock on, when you put all these moves on someone, it helps to know what the moves feel like because that helps the wrestler sell. If I know what a hammer lock feels like when somebody wrenches my arm, yeah, I'm going to be able to sell that a lot easier, and I'm going to be able to try to. Yeah, one of the ways that's easy for me to show people is if someone is wrenching my arm and they're, you manipulating my joint, I'm not going to stick this arm up and be like, oh, writhing in pain. I'm going to take this free arm and try to get them off of me some
Mm,
way. And the way you know that is by having the move put on you in the past. So
yeah.
that's how I met. Let me just plug this in. That's how I meant that amateur wrestling can only help. And plus, we would get in the ring with all these shooters, all these amateur wrestlers like the Sheltons and the Brock. Those guys just could manhandle. Kurt Angle, he could manhandle me if he
Mm,
wanted to, and it just would have been good to have that background, just that little extra.
nah. Well, like you had a match with Chris Jericho once, and I noticed that he performed the Walls of Jericho on you, and it
Mm.
looked so real. Like it looked like he went farther back on you. Was that a receipt, or were you just really good at taking it?
I wasn't really good at taking it. He went back on me, and I think that was his way of breaking me into the business. I think the way I got into wrestling was tough enough. It was a little bit unorthodox.
Hmm.
And so I think that Jericho was just helping me earn my stripes, helping me pay some dues. And everybody knows a way to pay dues is to see what someone has. But I didn't say anything. I definitely didn't say anything to him. I just went back in the back and thanked him. And but it was probably one of the most painful moves that I've ever had put on me. It hurt. There was
Yeah.
nothing fake about that.
You mentioned in one of your videos, I was a little bit confused because I didn't know this. It was just me, not you. But you said that you created the backstabber. Did you create it for you, or did you create the whole move?
Well, I didn't create it. It was given to me late in my run by the road agent, the wrestler Fit Finley. He told me, he said this will be a great move for you. It's something that you can do on most everybody, and it became one of the moves that I wish I would have had in my arsenal my entire career because it was a pretty easy move to do, and it looked devastating. And the moment I
Um,
left, Carlito started using it. So,
yeah.
again, I wish I would have had it for my full career, but I'm glad Carlito was able to use it and have a good run with it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not only him too. A lot of wrestlers are using that move now, and I think you are the maybe one of the people who made that move a bit more popular.
Yeah, it's devastating looking, and it's
Mm.
one of the It's one of those moves where it hurts me, the person giving it, more than the person taking it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think
yeah.
you expected this to come up, but you had an amazing drop kick in your run.
Ah, thank you.
How did you perfect that? Like, how did you get so high doing that?
There. there's a few moves and there's a few just things like in anything, so I'm sure a musician might pick up an instrument quicker than others.
Mm,
An athlete might be able to run faster than some other people. I could always just jump, and being able to jump, have a pretty good vertical leap was one of the things that it's. I don't want to say it's all. It's the most important thing about a drop kick, but it's pretty darn important. And I remember in practice, I threw my very first drop kick, and Al Snow saw it, and he was like, "Well, there's your move," because I could just naturally get higher than everybody else. And over time, it's just one of the things that I was able to perfect. And trust me, they weren't always perfect, but it was one of the moves. It was one of the moves that I could consistently throw and throw good.
nah. Um, so in your time in the WWE, you got to travel a bunch of the
Yeah.
states, a bunch of countries, and a bunch of provinces. And were there any of cities, states, provinces, countries that you remember having a really great time in?
The probably prettiest place I've ever been on earth was by far Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah,
You go, and I don't know the name of the bridge, but you go across the bridge, and it's just such mature evergreen trees, and then you go in to the city, and it's breathtaking. It's it's well kept, it's clean. I think I saw there was a an auto race that I was there for, and I want to say it was the Molson. I could be wrong, but I just remember my time in Vancouver. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to look for property and move there. But that was
yeah.
probably it's been the one place I've always just it was the prettiest city by far. And I haven't had a chance to go back since my time in wrestling. But if the opportunity ever came, I would jump on it.
You've also spent time in a lot of other Canadian cities like Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Calgary, Halifax, and my hometown of Montreal.
Yeah.
And what is the karaoke bar story in Montreal? How did that happen with the other wrestlers?
Okay. So I want to say it was one of my first few weeks as a wrestler in the WWE. So I was still extremely new, like, and terrified, just nervous. And there's not many times that they're going to encourage you to go out as a group, but on this occasion, they did. And we found ourselves in the karaoke bar. Montreal had an amazing karaoke bar. Pat Patterson was a big into karaoke, and Pat had a theory, and that was if you can't perform karaoke, how can you perform in front of all these wrestling fans? So it wasn't a thing if you want to. The whole roster was out at this karaoke bar, and everybody was going up and singing. And it was cool though to see all of these, men and women that I had watched for years, and to see them in an environment where they're not 100% confident in what they're doing, but having fun nonetheless. Everybody sung, we all had fun, we laughed, and it was a great icebreaker for me early in my career. It was a good way to make friends and to see these people outside of a work environment.
Mm. Do you remember the song that you performed?
I do. It was Bobby Darin's "Mac the Knife."
Uh,
Not a yeah, it's not a song that most people would suspect, but it's an easy song to get with once you hear it.
I'll have to listen to that. Personally, my favorite musical artist is actually Elvis Presley.
Oh,
Uh,
good one, yeah,
into the
good
rock
one,
and roll and stuff.
yeah.
And speaking of music, you mentioned in another podcast that you were never the biggest fan of your entrance theme.
Uh,
Was there any other themes or songs that you think would have worked better for you?
and I liked my song. I just didn't like it for me.
Mm,
I always liked Gold Dust theme. I always thought he had a very cool. very good music. And then you say you like rock. My God, how could you not like Hunter? Triple H having Motorhead do his
Yeah.
entrance theme. That's probably to me some of the best entrance music out there.
Mm. And to throw back what we were talking about before, Canadian cities, you had your WrestleMania 18
I did.
in Toronto. My dad was there. He loved your match with Goldust. And do you remember the experience getting to see like the WrestleMania? Like how crazy was that to have a match at WrestleMania?
It's again another just checking off a bucket list item. Here's what I remember. I remember I think there was like 70,000 people in the Sky Dome, and the ramp was so long, and the
Yeah.
backstage going to the ring. And I remember coming out and being as terrified as I've ever been in my life, and realizing I have a long walk ahead of me. And it's easy when I was on Raw, and that's a 10-second walk to the ring. Well, this was like a 45-second to a minute long walk. And I just remember thinking, don't trip, don't trip, don't trip.
Uh,
But I would always get scared before all my matches, but the fear would go away the moment I went through the curtain.
well, we've seen people doing their entrances and they have little slip ups or falls. It's always
Oh,
super
yeah.
funny.
Yeah. And I didn't want to be known as one of those funny. I didn't want to be one of the guys on the blooper reel for tripping.
Yeah. Did you have a pre-match ritual to try and calm yourself before your matches?
I would always, and I learned this from Booker T. Booker was big in doing a lot of jumping jacks and a lot of just stuff to get your heart rate elevated. And the reason being is once you get that first, a bit of adrenaline going, then it's easier once you get out there. So I learned from Booker to get, whether it be jumping jacks, Hindu squats, something to just get a good sweat going, get blood flowing, so I could go immediately from backstage then to the ring, and it wasn't like a trying to just start off from scratch.
Mm,
Basically, get a good sweat going, and then that way I'm already warmed up.
yeah. Well, as I mentioned before, your WrestleMania 18 opponent was Goldust, and in one of your recent videos, you snuck into
Yeah.
AEW and got to see him. Are you guys still close?
I wouldn't say we're close, but we're definitely still friends. And it's just over time, you just lose touch with people. But it was super, super exciting being able to reconnect. And it was like we picked right up where we left off. I'm happy that he's still wrestling. I'm happy that he still is healthy, and I'm happy that he's doing what he loves.
Are there any wrestlers that you are still very close with?
Obviously, Devon.
Mm,
I still talk with Devon uh, all the time, and Stevie Richards. He's another
mm.
one with a YouTube channel, and I just speak to him. He and I text every day.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
And also, when you were at AEW, you got to see a bunch of other wrestlers and a
yeah.
bunch of your fans who are now wrestling. Getting to see the impact of not only your fans that grew up watching you, but also your newer fans that are also growing up watching you because of your YouTube channel. How does it feel to do that?
It's crazy to think that I started 20 20 some years ago with a dream,
Mm,
and this few years later, to know that my impact is being felt, and to know that people your age know who I am.
mm,
It's a humbling experience, and it's one that I take a lot of pride in. I'm happy that not only am I able to tell my story, but the story of why I love wrestling. And I think it's I think what's transcended is I was every fan. There's nothing special about me. I was the same as every single fan that turns on wrestling on a weekly basis. and I was able to live my wrestling dream. And in a way, I'm still living it, and that's very like that puts a smile on my face every day.
Mm. Yeah, well, besides wrestling, you've also explored acting. So I saw on the Internet Movie Database that you're doing a fan-made film. How's that going?
Yeah, it's my scenes are already shot.
Mm.
So it's in the can. So I'm happy to say that everything that they needed out of me is done. Now I'm just excited to see what the finished product looks like. Yeah, it's a Crow fan film. The guy who is the plays the lead. It's the guy directing it. He's the guy. He did all the fundraising for it, and you can tell when someone has a passion for something, and his passion is just off the chart. I have no doubt whatsoever that this film is going to look a lot better than most fan films look, and I was happy to be a part of it. Now, that said, I'm not saying my acting's going to be any good. It probably won't be, but I was happy that I was able to again check off another box of just bucket list items and just things that are fun that I was able to do.
Mm. Is there a go-to genre that you always love watching?
And when it comes to movies,
Hmm.
action. Oh, I'm an action film junkie. I grew up with oh gosh, Schwarzenegger and Stallone
Yeah,
in their prime, and I was a child during the '80s, which to me was the best decade to be a child in. So there was new action films each and every year, and to this day, I still watch those movies and still love them just as much as I did when I was a kid.
yeah, yeah. For me and my family, we all love horror movies. So for us,
Ah,
hmm,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
yeah. Do you have a
Yeah.
favorite horror film?
Here's what I've noticed. I like the group Blumhouse. I'm a movie buff, so I go to almost any movie.
Mm,
I don't care what it is, I'll go see it. And recently, meaning the past few years, Blumhouse has put out so many horror movies, but they're all good. The stories are good, the acting's good, the directing's good, the budget is high, and thus making a great movie experience. And I wouldn't say necessarily a terrifying experience, but enough to make you jump while in the theaters. And to me, that's the best. So recently, I saw the latest. What was it? Oh, what's the movie? Help me out here, Saber. What's the movie where the death movie where death comes for people?
oh, I'm not sure.
Oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank. I recently saw like, and about 2 weeks ago I saw, and it had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. But keeping with my love for action movies, I saw Mission Impossible last week, and it was amazing.
Should
So
I go see
yeah,
that?
absolutely, absolutely, and especially I mean, if you're a Tom Cruise fan, I mean that man is just amazing. He's ageless. He's
Mm.
older than I am, doing crazier stuff out there.
And so over your videos and even on this interview right now, I could tell that you try and stay in shape, and you're doing a great job. I should have said try. You do stay in shape. And do you work out constantly? Do you do like DDP yoga?
Well, I've actually watched some DDP yoga. A few years back, I had a back injury, and it still hits and comes back occasionally. So I've tried to start doing a lot more stretching. Because the older I get, the more I find flexibility is important. But I'm in the gym usually. Try to go about 4 to 5 times a week. Obviously, strength training. I want to try to stay as young looking as possible, but I realize that flexibility at my age is probably the most important thing.
Mm. Me and my parents, we've been doing DDP. Well, I've been doing it since the beginning of May, and they've been doing it for years and years, and it's really good. It makes me feel healthy.
That's if there's one thing that I would say stick with, it's that. You want to get into the wrestling business, you're going to find flexibility to be your best friend. RVD, as amazing of an athlete as Rob is, his flexibility helps him so much. The one thing I neglected when I was on the road, I just wanted to get big and look jacked, and I neglected flexibility. So the fact that you're doing it right now, I'm so happy. Stay with it because it'll help you tenfold once you start taking bumps and once you start learning how to become a wrestler. I promise you.
Mm. And you were lucky enough to be the first person to ever take an F5.
I was. Yeah.
Did they tell you like the day of, or how soon before that did they tell you you're gonna take this?
Yeah, it was day of, and I get to the ring and to go over it, and I'm in there with Brock, and Brock is about as strong as any human being I've ever been around. And I asked him if he wanted me to jump and do you need help me getting up on your shoulders? And he laughed at me and said, "No, no, I'll get you." And when he grabbed me, I was going wherever that man wanted me to go. And at the time, I mean, I weighed about 230, so I wasn't like, but Brock is just next level strong. Next, just he's oh god, he's one of the guys that he's as legit tough as he looks.
Mm. And again, like in your videos and during this interview, you're really good at talking. You draw people in when you talk, and I could really see you be a motivational speaker. And have you ever thought of going in that path?
You know what? I would love to do motivational speaking. It's one of the things that I, how do you become an astronaut? I don't know. How do you become a motivational speaker? I mean, I don't know. If the opportunity ever presented itself, I would, and I would do it because I think at my age and through my life experiences, I've had enough ups and downs that my story I think others can relate to. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to sugarcoat and make you think I believe my life's been perfect. It has not. But I've been able to overcome a lot, and I've always tried to keep a positive attitude. And I've always try to look that it's always going to get better if it's bad, and if it's going great, be ready for the rainy days because I promise they're coming.
Mm.
That staying in between level, I find helps me out. Never quite as bad as you think, and it's never quite as good as you think.
In another one of your videos, you visited the world's cheapest wrestler, and I remember watching the original video, and I don't remember him reusing tissues. How disgusting was that to see it in person?
Yeah, it was pretty gross. It was. I don't want to say many things shock me anymore, but that shocked me. That caught me off guard. It made me think twice about shaking his hand.
And you mentioned in the video like you don't know what you don't want to know what he uses with his toilet paper. I'm like, that's a
Yeah,
really good point.
yeah. Whatever you do in your bathroom, I don't even want to know.
No, me neither. Um, sorry. Oh, I need water. One sec.
Yeah, brother, me too.
Is there anyone that you would like to interview yourself? Is there any new talent that you'd want to speak with to see how how the difference is from their era compared to yours?
I think one of my dream interviews would be MJF, and I absolutely love what he's doing, and I think he's the best heel in the business.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go down. I think 10 years from now we will look back
Oh
and
yeah.
see MJF as one of those Cena, Stone Cold, Rock figures. I really believe he's got that because he has something that's just different, and you can't put your finger on what it is or how he has it. He just has it. I know that.
Yeah, he's always in character, and that's one thing that's really hard for most people to do. And some people don't even enjoy it. They want to be themselves when they're interacting with fans. But he's
Yeah,
so good at just being the character all the time.
he's great. And it's funny because I know him personally,
Yeah?
and he's a great guy. He's a fan. He's such a nice guy. So I know when I see him how just how talented he is to be able to stay in character like that.
Mm. Were there any people that stayed in character like that when you were a wrestler? I know the Undertaker for the longest time, he would always try his best to wear dark colors, black and purple.
Yeah, there's a difference between staying in character all the time like that as opposed to just looking the part. Most guys look the part, but I can't think of anyone that stayed in character like that to that extent.
Mm. And to go a little throwback from to before on how much people you're influencing and showing because of your YouTube channel, do you get stopped in the street or in the airport because of either your career or the channel?
It's funny. I actually get recognized more now than back when I was wrestling. I get recognized all the time now for the YouTube channel, all the time, and it's
Uh,
crazy. It's crazy because I would get recognized here and there every few months, but now it's weekly, almost every time I go out.
yeah. You're in New Jersey, right?
I am. I'm right outside of New York City.
Oh, nice. I went to New Jersey and New York over October. It was really nice, a great experience.
Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it. I'd love to go
Well,
back.
I was caught. That's why the reason I had to push this interview back is try dealing with the traffic on a daily basis, and it's raining. Uh,
Oh,
an hour-long trip took me about 2 hours.
wow.
Yeah,
The traffic there must be crazy.
horrible, horrible.
Were there any videos of yours that you were really proud of and that you look back on just thinking like that was my favorite video and I loved making it, I loved releasing it?
Yeah, the video we did obviously with Taker was, I mean, that's Taker, but the video we did with Perry Saturn, I'm really proud of, and it's just because Perry was one of the figures that I didn't quite know how he felt about me, and for lack of a better term, I just didn't think he liked me. And it was great to clear the air. And Perry's now become one of my good friends, like to the point where we text each other regularly. So knowing that a YouTube video was was the way that we bridged the gap between just misconceptions from the past to how we're both doing today. Yeah, that's one I'm very, very proud of.
Well, were there any wrestlers backstage that didn't like you? Because even within this hour interview, you're very nice.
Perry was the one I thought that didn't like me.
Mm. So you were well liked backstage?
I would like to think so. I'm pretty easy to get along with. I'm not someone who's not gonna like. I've developed the ability to know what I don't know, and being in a wrestling locker room, you have to just listen to the veterans. And I wasn't going to be the guy that was, chiming in. I was, yes sir, no sir. I was going to listen, and I was going to do what I was told. That that'll take you a long way in a wrestling locker room.
Mm. A lot of videos on social media have said that the newer talent, when they first join the main roster, they have to clean up the locker room. Did you ever have to experience that?
Nah, we didn't. They didn't take it that far. We had to clean our own mess up, but I didn't have to clean anyone else's mess
Mm. Do you get requests a lot for interviews like this?
every day, several
Yeah?
times a day, several times a day. You're the first one that's been a 12-year-old though. That's why I said yes.
Thank you. It's
You're what?
really,
I
uh,
love the I love the fact that you're doing this at this age, and if I can help just foster your love and passion, then I'm happy to play a little small role.
yeah, well, I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get more interviews, and you're the first one out of any of them, so I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. My
But
pleasure.
it has been a really great time interviewing you, laughing, and finding out stories that I didn't know.
You're really good at this too. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep
I
it
will.
up. I
And
promise you. I promise you this. The more you do something, the easier it's going to get. The more you're going to become just natural. And you're 12 years old right now, right?
mhm,
I'm trying to imagine talking to a wrestler that I watched at 12 years old. I wouldn't have been able to do it. So,
no,
Sabre, you're so much further ahead of the game than I was. So much further.
thank you. Well, one day when I am in the WWE, I'll get to tell you, thank you. You inspired me to do that,
I
and I
hope you
really
do.
appreciate it.
Oh,
I
of
hope
course.
you have a great week, a great weekend coming up.
Likewise.
Uh,
Likewise.
well, thank you, Maven. It's been a very good time.
My pleasure. And best of luck to you.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.